Kia ora team, welcome to part 2 of Croc Charm Jibit making. This is where we left off. We had made the base for our Croc Charm. So now we need to give it some sort of decoration. So I'm just going to pop that base over to the side, over here, and I'm going to make a simple decoration for the top. I'm going to put a couple of discs together and I'm going to put a number with some letters on them. Alright, so I'm just going to get rid of this information about the cylinder, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the ruler, which is top right, onto the screen. Let's try, oops, partway onto the screen. Let's get it right onto the workspace. There we go. So if I now click my object, which is the cylinder, I can see the measurements. So I can see it's 20 millimeters tall, indicated by the red line. Here it goes. Actually, when I hover over a number, that's quite good to know, the little line turns red. So across the width of our cylinder is 20 millimeters. The length of our cylinder, that isn't going red, is 20 millimeters. So that means it's a circle. I could equally change it to an oval, but I don't want an oval. I want a circle, and 20 by 20, as far as diameter goes, is great. The height, welcome cat, the height that I want is 2 millimeters. So I've just changed that, and you can see it shrunk. Now I need another disc. So I'm going to copy and paste. So just Command C and Command V. I'll pull that across, and I need to change the size of that diameter. So that one I'm going to do 16 by 16. So it's a 16 millimeter circle disc. And the next thing I want to think about is I want to put the small disc on top of the big disc. So I need to lift the small disc, and see this little cone, I can pull it up. Equally, I can push it down. What I tend to do is I pull it up, and I watch for what numbers are changing. And I can see the numbers that are changing over here. You can actually see my disc floating. I want to change it so it's 2 millimeters high. So we can see that here. I have got the cat who's trying to help. You might hear her purring and scratching. Stop it. Okay, let's put the disc on top of the larger disc. I'm going to use the cube, top left. I'm going to click on top again, so I'm looking directly bird's eye view down. I'm going to get rid of the ruler, so I'm going top right. I'm going to click on that little ruler icon, and I click on it again, and then it goes to grey. Now I'm going to select my two discs. I'm going to use the align tool. So align is top rightish. I'm just hovering it over it here. I'm going to click on that, and it brings up these little dots that allow things to align. First thing I tend to do is align it across my page or my workspace, and if I click that middle dot, that's nicely aligned. Oops, then I got rid of my line marks. So that's cool. Now I want to align it so it's sitting directly on top of the large disc. And if I click that middle dot, it is directly on top. Now, another way for me just to check that is I've selected the two discs. I'm going to the little menu that is on the left-hand vertical side, and you can see here there's like a viewfinder. If I click on that, it takes me directly to viewfind the shapes that I'm looking at, and we can see that disc is directly on top. The other thing I can do is tilt it and make sure that the two surfaces are touching, and they are. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to group it. Now I can move it as a unit. And I'm also going to change the colour just so that you can see what's going on. I'll change to blue. Okay. Next thing, let's put something on top of it. I'm going to grab out the text. Oh, that's big. I'm going to zoom back. So I need the minus tool on the left vertical side. So now I can see my text. Where it says text on the right side, if I click show the inspector, the very first line, it says text, and it says text, I can change that. Yeah, I'm going to say text, actually, but TXT. I can play around with the fonts, but I should look top down so I can see what they look like. So there it goes. I can choose sans, choose sans mono, spaces it out a bit. I could choose serif, or I could go back to that multi-language. Yeah, I think I quite like that because it's kind of quite chunky. Yeah. All right, so to put on top of the small disk, I obviously am going to need to change its size. So I could do this by getting my ruler out again, and we can see, I'll just shift my disks, select, we can see it's 55.92 wide, 19.82 high. And what I can do, you can see there's these little white boxes that surround it. That's going to allow me to scale it. So we're going to play with that. And at the moment, we can see that the height is 10 millimeters or 1 centimeter. So we'll just sort of straighten that up a bit. I'm going to grab one of these little white boxes. It's going to turn red. I'm going to hold the shift key down because that's going to keep the dimensions the same. And I'm just going to shrink it down. And okay, so the number needs to be, oops, I've made it upside down. The number needs to be less than 16. So at the moment it's 19. So let's keep going. Oh yeah, I've got 14 there. Cool. Height, 4.96, so effectively 5. And its height is 2.5. That would actually work really well. Cool. I'm going to get rid of that ruler. So I'll click on the ruler twice. I'm going to bring my text over, and let's, I might raise it first. I want to make it indented, so I'm going to raise it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tilt the work plane a bit. See the little cone? I'm going to lift that, and I'm going to look at the number that's changing, and there it goes. If I put my ruler back, I can raise it, so I can see that number that's changing. There it goes there. I'm going to change it to 2 high. So what that means is that when I change this to a whole, right, I'll get rid of the ruler now. So I'm over on the ruler icon, and I'm going to click, click, so it's all gone. If it's 2 millimeters high and my double discs are 4 millimeters, if I lift it to 2, it'll just sink in for 2 millimeters, or thereabouts. So that's cool. Let's use the align tool. Oh, let's change it to a whole. So I've selected text. I'm going from solid color. I'm going to change it to whole. All right, there it goes there. It looks fairly spooky. Click top. So I'm looking directly down. Select both. Use the align tool. Click. So let's center it. And then let's get everything to meet in the middle. There we go. And I reckon that looks pretty good. I'm going to use I'll just select my little top. I'm going to use the fit view to select shapes. That is on the vertical left hand side. Brings me in close. And what I'm looking for is how far away the hole is from the side of that top disc. I reckon I need it a bit smaller, so I'm just going to rig that because I need to. I'm just going to tilt it. Lift. No. I'm going to Control Z. I'm going to Control Z a few times actually. There, I've got my text is out. Right, let's get the ruler back out. Now, 2.5 millimeters high at the moment. Let's just look at the width. So, zoom back. Okay, at the moment it's 14. I am going to get it to about 13. So again, I'm going to use the little scaling square. I'm going to hold shift so the dimensions stay about the same, or stay the same. I've shifted that. It's now the width of 13. The height here has changed to 2.32. Let's just make it 2. Let's only change the height because I've clicked on the numbers. And let's put all that together. So align tool, I'll just zoom back, click align, center it vertically, center it so it's everything's on top, tilt it, and it should be in the right place. I might just zoom in a bit, click on my letters. All right, that looks about right. Cool. Alrighty, if I'm happy with that, I'll get rid of the ruler, double click. I'm going to select, and I'm going to group. Looks good. Yeah, cool. All right, now let's zoom out. Let's bring the stalk over and let's align them. So select both, align tool, click. So I'm going to center them vertically. I'm going to center them so they're on top of each other. Oh, have I raised this? No, I haven't. Back to the ruler tool. Let's check my disc. It is my base is 8 millimeters high. So that is what I want to raise the top. So I'm going to get the little cone, I'm going to watch the numbers, and there's the one that's changing. I know it needs to be 8 millimeters in the air. All right, now I'm going to get rid of the ruler once again. Let's do the selecting of both. Use the align tool. Now the beauty of this is that if I was moving manually, I might change the heights, and that would be a bit of a disaster. Because then when I go to print, I might get some muck. Okay, I'm going to group them together. There it goes, it's changed to orange. What's the colour I like? Oh, I think I quite like this. Oh, I'm going yellow. No. Red. No. Yellow. Oh, use yellow. I haven't used yellow before. Cool. Alrighty, so I'm ready to print this. I need to export it. Generally what I'm doing when I'm making prototypes is I print 3, because that allows for some failure and for me to fix things up. Or I might have made 3 variations of a theme. In this case, so I've copied and pasted one. I tend to move them quickly. It always works. Here's another one. Oops, missed. Off you go. Good. I'm going to look at the top view, set them up. It's really good to set them up closest together. Not touching, though. Right, so they're nice and close together. Everything is on the ground. I'm going to do a double check of that. Ruler. Now, it's the far number, that's 0. Far number, that is 0. That's far right. And far number, that is 0. Cool. So they're all on the deck. That's great. Get rid of my ruler. Cool. It's time to export. Now, if I had a few different objects on my workplace, I would select what I want to print. So I've just pulled a rectangle over it. Then I go to the top right. I'm looking for the export button, download and 3D print. I need to export it as a .stl file. Now, hopefully it's got a good name. That is going to show up in my downloads. So we'll go and have a look there. Click, right, downloads. That's just coming through. Wait patiently. Oh, there it goes. Okay, downloads, there it is. What I should do is give it a bit better of a name. So Croc Charm Jibit, let's call it V1, version 1. And that means the next one that I do, and actually I'll rename it on my Tinkercad file as well. I'm going to make that V1. And that means the next time I do some tinkering and make some changes, I can then change it to V2 and just export the new ones. And I'd put all these up there, and I'd have another set that I'd done some bits and pieces with. Maybe change the colour so that I know. Okay, it's good to have systems like that. Oh, this is going to look quite pretty, isn't it? Go red. Right, okay. Happy creating and happy building.